To go. Yeah. Greetings, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland. Here I am at number 2 Chester Square, London, in the exclusive area of Belgravia. It's so named because the Earl of Belgrave owned much of the land. And as you can see, it's white stuccoed splendour. So the value of any of these properties would be north of £10 million. And this one is of a particular historical interest because, as you can see, Matthew Arnold, the renowned Victorian poet, lived here. So he was born in 1822. His father was Thomas Arnold, the headmaster of Rugby School. And yes, that's where the sport of rugby takes its name, because famously William Webb Ellis cheated at football, picked up the ball and ran, touched down behind the line. They said, well, then you have a try at scoring a goal. You only get a try, you don't get any points at the try. Kick it into the goal, then it became kick it over the goal. And then it became you get points for the try as well as the conversion over the goal. But that's by the by. So Matthew Arnold went to his father's school, Rugby School, which was founded under Edward VI, because, of course, after the dissolution of the monasteries, there was a paucity of schools in this country. And Edward VI, that godly imp, the latter-day Josiah, the boy king, who effected a religious reformation, thought that this gap in the educational market needed to be filled. So founded loads of Anglican schools. So Matthew Arnold, he was a very distinguished scholar as a schoolboy. He went on to Oriel College, Oxford, which until the mid-20th century had a close association with Rugby School. But these days, the different colleges of Oxford University, or indeed of Cambridge University, are not allowed to have any connection to a school like that. They can't favour boys or girls from a particular school. Anyway, so he then became a man of letters, best known as a poet, as you know, and he was also very God-bothering, brought up in the Church of England, and he was fervent about his faith in a rather un-Anglican manner. You may have read his book, Dover Beach, about looking out from the sea of faith and reflecting how it was now an age of doubt. The thing about Dover Beach is because of the white cliffs of Dover, where there'll be blue birds over, has in the 20th century become a place for those with no faith to throw themselves off, a suicide spot. But Matthew Arnold was also famous for his poem, Thyrsis. He wrote this as an elegy to his friend Arthur Hugh Clough. He's a mid-19th century poet, and Clough deserves to be a bit better known. Churchill quoted him famously in a radio broadcast about America. Can't quite remember the words, saying, "Oh, so slowly the light coming in. Look west, the land is bright." Something like that. But Clough died at the age of 40. So Matthew Arnold composed this paean to his dead friend, Thyrsis, and it's really about Oxford. And the most famous line of it, the oft-quoted one, well, couplet really is, "That sweet city of dreaming spires, she needs not June for loveliness as heightening," referring to Oxford. So we often talk about it as a city of dreaming spires. There's so many spires of the many Anglican churches, all the college chapels and things like that. Talking about looking it down at from Boars Hill, this very pucker area a few miles south of Oxford. So not much has changed since then. So saying the city is lovely even in midwinter. Well, if you go there on a grey day in January when it's raining cats and dogs or something, you might not quite agree. But anyway, it's not dark, Satanic Mills at least. So that is Matthew Arnold. And by a very curious coincidence, the person who lived in here in the 1950s was Simon Mann, that mercenary who notoriously attempted to effect a coup in Equatorial Guinea and spent several years cooling his heels at Black Sands Beach Prison or whatever it is in Equatorial Guinea. He lived here as a child, and his family was very wealthy. He was heir to some gin fortune, went on to be in the Scots Guards, the SAS, all the rest of it. All right, that's enough about Matthew Arnold and his house, which unfortunately is not open to Joe Public.